Good morning. Today I am in Istanbul airport and I want to show you guys one of the cities that was heavily affected by the 2023 earthquakes. The city is called Antakya and it's in the southern part of Turkey, very close to the Syrian border. I always used to recommend to all of my friends to visit as it had great history, great culture and an excellent food scene. But unfortunately, most of this has been destroyed. I'm not too sure to what extent, so I'm going to go and check it out and document it to show you guys what it's like. I'm not sure if the airport in the city of Antakya is 100% operational. I certainly couldn't find any flights to go there. My only option was to fly to the city of Gaziantep, rent a car, and then drive down. It was about a 2.5 hour drive. I did begin to notice that things weren't quite what they used to be like. There were tents at the side of the road from various relief agencies, and there were small villages of prefabricated buildings housing people. I'm almost at the city of Hatay, and I've been driving on this highway which actually runs along the fault line. And as I've driven further and further towards the city, I've noticed there's fewer and fewer standing buildings or buildings that look like they're habitable. A lot of them have a lot of damage, especially the tower blocks. Behind me is a container city, it says just over there. You can see the flag from Qatar, Turkey, and AFAD, which might be their Turkey's first aid organization. And you can see people are still living here in these containers, as they probably left their houses, left their apartment blocks that all along the other cities on this highway are damaged and they're completely abandoned. So I'm going to head towards the city and go and see what that's like. Now, just before we head off, I have been driving for about 2.5 hours, and when you're driving you have time to think about things, and I have been thinking about arriving in the city and what I expect. As I said, I did come here before 2 years ago and I left with great memories of the place, and I've never been back to a city. I've been back to cities where I've gone back, not had such a good experience or had a different experience, not enjoyed it as much. That's fine, but I'm going back to a place that no longer exists pretty much, and having to process that, having to arrive in a place where you always thought I will definitely go back. I had such a great time, and arriving to a place that is essentially just rubble. Judging by all of the buildings that I've seen all around this highway, I don't think there's going to be much left. I hope some of the shops that I remember still exist. I know one of the restaurants doesn't exist anymore because I checked the Google Maps and it's no longer there. It says permanently closed. But let's go and take a look. On the way to the city, I began to notice that a lot of businesses were also shut down, like these car dealers. The place was beginning to resemble some kind of ghost town. So I'm now in the suburbs of the city, where these are all apartment blocks where people would have lived, but this is completely leveled. Look at the destruction here. All of this just rubble at the side of the road. There's a supermarket there. I want to go there. I'll show you in a bit. Let's just go across the road and have a look down there. So all of these buildings lie abandoned now. Look, there's some demolishing works going on, but all of these, which were shops just 6-7 months, 1 year ago, now lie empty. A101, this is a local supermarket chain, but all of this is just destroyed. You can see, look, all of these pillars, nothing's standing. It's completely, it lies in rubble. It's almost as though it's a war zone. I've only ever seen places like this are just emerging from war. I've never ever seen a place this badly destroyed, and it's become essentially a ghost town. Apparently a third of the population of the city left. You can see just there in the distance a big shopping trolley with Migros written on it, and this is the supermarket. The supermarket, which is also shut. There is another one just there, but if there's no people living here, the demand for supermarkets isn't exactly going to be great. Let's go back to the car and check out what the grocery store is like. You can see there in the distance, I'll zoom in a little bit, that is the Mercedes dealership, which is also again closed. This is the supermarket inside. You can see there's a guy working in there, but there's nothing inside this grocery store either. Let's see if we can go into the car park just down here somewhere. Yeah, this is the car park with the supermarket, completely empty. You can see inside there, just empty, nothing there at all. This is truly shocking. I've never ever seen anything like this, and I haven't even got to the center yet. Look at this. Just look at all of this. You can see lots of empty lots and vacant land where buildings used to stand. There was a lot of traffic of just bulldozers, diggers, demolishing all of the buildings and clearing away the rubble. This work will continue for many, many months to come. It's not going to be a short or easy process. So behind me is the park, and right next to it I've noticed they've got these trucks, and this one, it says it's a mobile bakery. You can see pictures of bread on it. You just take a quick look in the back. There's ovens and a generator to operate the machines. I assume people go inside here and they bake the bread. And there's this other, I think this is a mobile kitchen, which is again in the back of a truck, fully safe-contained with generators. You can see there's a pillar here that's damaged. There's some tents there. In the distance, the park isn't that big. You see in the distance just over there, more damaged buildings. We're very close to the centre now, less than 1 kilometre away. It's truly devastating. The closer to the centre I get, you can see all of this. There's no buildings here left whatsoever, and they've cleared off the rubble as well. This one's still standing. You can see it's completely abandoned, broken glass. Okay, I finally managed to make it to the centre, and as I expected, it's completely destroyed. There's no people here, there's no shops, there's nothing left anymore. They're all either being cleared up, abandoned a bit like this one, or just nothing. The part that really interests me is this building on the corner, which is still standing. And I stayed in this building. This used to be a hostel. And that is the exact bed that I stayed in. You can still see there's beds inside. Let's zoom in a bit. You can still see the beds inside, and I stayed in one of these just here. And all of it is still, the street is still standing. And I parked my car just along here and went in there. And all of the shops, all of the buildings, everything all around it no longer exist. The city has become a bit of a ghost town. Even the suburbs where I stopped, nothing. And I remember one hummus shop that we used to go to, because this city is famous for hummus. It's actually right on the border with Syria, so there's a lot of Arabic influence. From religious perspective, it's very mixed. So there's a bit of Christians, Muslims. So it was a very, very different city compared to the rest of this area, which is quite conservative. It was quite liberal. There was bars, there was nightlife. And I remember there used to be buildings all here, and they've all gone. They've all been cleared and damaged. You can see this one just here. I remember it used to come down this road to a hummus shop. And I'll include the footage in here where my friend walks in to this place and makes a video about it, and it no longer exists. It's here, hummus. See hummus and bakla. It's here. And it's gone. I'll show you the video, and there's this police officer just to my right, which is now asking questions.
50. Kilo hummus is 50. Freshest hummus in the region, mate. Çok güzel. So he's making it all obviously in-house. Nice. It's like dondurma gibi.
Dondurma gibi.
Yeah, it looks like ice cream. So same thing, we're having
Şimdi
hummus.
sarımsaklı hummus yapacağım.
Evet, teşekkür ederim. He's going to do hummus with garlic.
Hummus koyacağım.
Smashing the hummus in there. Yes, it's what we love.
Sarımsaklı
Smashing
hummus
it. Yes, keep going. Don't stop. We love it.
Limon koyacağım.
Lemon, bit of lemon juice. Smash it in, smash it in.
Ezeceğim bunu.
And then crushing it a little bit more. Beautiful. Arkadaşım o. Go back. Smashing everything around. A wonderful marriage of flavours coming out. Çok güzel. They make the... Oh, I'll say after. Best hummus in Hatay. Smash some tomatoes, fresh tomatoes. Toast sugar, shake, bit more. Putting a bit more olive oil on. And that is your zebzeli hummus. This is the fresh bread. Rip it off, dip it in, smash it down, let the flavours go. You yelling me?
It's a real shame, absolute shame, what ended up happening. Unbelievable. There's one other place that I want to try and see if I can find. It probably also doesn't exist, which was the gastronomy house. It was a restaurant that was run by the local government to help introduce the locals to help introduce visitors to the local cuisine. It was all cheap prices, extremely high quality food, but again, it doesn't exist anymore for sure. Let's get back to the car and try and find the gastronomy heavy restaurants. I'm having a walk around the city and I can't explain the destruction. I remember these little streets used to be so nice, little cute alleyways with little bars, restaurants, live music, all of it gone. I'm actually quite impressed at how much I can still figure out. I did come 2 years ago and I can still remember some routes and roads that I took because we were walking around a lot and I was here for 5-6 days, so I can remember little landmarks that still are standing and then figure out where to go from there. So this is see all of these streets, they don't look anything like they used to, the little side streets. Just nothing left, absolutely nothing. I remember there was one video I filmed in a restaurant up there with a cat. That whole thing doesn't exist anymore. At least there's one restaurant here that still is open, Atom Donna. But yeah, completely leveled. You can see just there, I've seen these around. They put erected little porta cabins. That's a little market selling food and drink, because obviously there's nothing next to it. And people are still living in these tents and porta cabins that they've erected. There's temporary phone masts up there as well. Right, so I've tried to find the gastronomy heavy, but I don't think it's safe. It is down this street. And you can see these are like ancient monuments, all destroyed. And the hummus and the gastronomy house is just there. So I can drive along here, there's a road here. But I could try to climb down there, but it doesn't look safe at all. Look, that building appears to be held up with scaffolding. I don't want to injure myself, but what a shame. Here is a bit of video footage of the restaurant that I took at that time. As I said earlier, the government owned and ran this restaurant. You can see it was quite a big place. It was also run as a bit of a social project, so the prices were actually very cheap for the quality of the food. Next thing I wanted to do was to go and check out the local marketplace. So it seems like there's still a market of some sort here in the centre. Obviously a lot of the buildings are still intact here, but just this part, all around it is destroyed, it's just rubble. And there's not actually that many shops. You see a lot of them are closed. It's a very different atmosphere to the one I remember. So one reason to come here is for hummus. This city is actually famous for it. And there used to be many shops all around the city, but obviously a lot of them have shut. But there is this one. Here it's called Chairichi, bakla and hummus, and they do full and hummus. Really, really good. I'm going to try it out. So this is one of the reasons you come here, is for fresh hummus and full bakla. Full, right? Full. Yeah. hummus. It's a big pot of it. I ordered 1 kilo to take away. Hopefully I can take it on the plane with me and get it back to Istanbul safely.
Oo, Yaşar baba, aleykümselam.
Looks beautiful. And we've got a pickle as well, sliced up on there. Wonderful. Here we go, this is the good stuff. The fool and the hummus. I've just finished editing this video and I've had a lot of time to reflect upon it and think about it, and for me it was a pretty emotional experience to go back to a place that I really enjoyed the first time round and it no longer exists. Don't forget that this is one city of Antakya and many other cities were affected, especially in Syria. I still saw people living in tents, they were still living in porta cabins. It was a pretty shocking thing to see. So what I will do is I'll leave a link in the description where you can donate if you wish to this cause, and your help will be much appreciated by them. So anyway, thank you ever so much for watching this video. I hope you've got an insight into what is happening in eastern Turkey after the earthquake. And don't forget to hit like and subscribe, it'll really help me out, and I'll catch up with you guys next time.